All right, today we are diving into the wonderful world of Clippy McKenna's 500 Preserving Delights. And let me tell you, this is so much more than a cookbook. It's basically a guide to bottling up the taste of every season, a journey where kitchen chemistry becomes delicious, edible art. You know that feeling, right? It's the end of summer, your garden is exploding, or maybe the farmer's market is just overflowing with all this amazing produce, and you get that little pang of panic thinking, how am I possibly going to use all of this before it goes bad? Well, that's what this is all about, rescuing that incredible harvest. I mean, just look at that, a basket literally bursting with tomatoes, apples, herbs. It's a fantastic problem to have, for sure, but it's still a problem. So we're going to explore the solution, how to turn that fleeting bounty into a treasure you can dig into for months and months.
Now here's the philosophy that really sets this approach apart. This isn't about making those super sugary jams where you can barely taste the fruit. No, the whole idea here is to let the harvest be the star of the show. It's about using less sugar so you can celebrate that pure, peak-of-the-season flavor.
Okay, before we get to all the amazing recipes, we gotta talk about the foundation. Because you see, preserving is just as much a science as it is an art. And if you want to get it right every single time, there are two golden rules you absolutely, positively have to follow. Rule number 1, sterilization. Your jars, your lids, your workspace, everything has to be spotlessly clean. This keeps any nasty bacteria from spoiling all your hard work. And rule number 2, precision. This is where you gotta channel your inner kitchen scientist. It's not just casual cooking. It's about creating the perfect chemical environment for preservation.
And this slide really breaks down what that precision looks like. You have to weigh your fruit on a scale, not just scoop it into a measuring cup. Why? Because that exact ratio of fruit to sugar is what makes a jam set perfectly. And whatever you do, don't just double a recipe. You can throw that delicate chemistry way off and end up with a runny, syrupy mess instead of a beautiful jam.
All right, now that we've got the science down, we can get to the fun part, the art. Let's start with the sweet side of things. We're talking jams, jellies, and curds. You know, that pure, gooey goodness in a jar. And the variety here is just wow. Of course, you got your classic jams, but with incredible twists like chocolate and banana jam. Then there are marmalades, which need a little more time to get that citrus peel perfectly tender. And oh, the fruit curds, they're described as voluptuous because they're so rich and creamy from eggs and butter. And we can't forget fruit butters, these super dense, concentrated purees of slow-cooked fruit. The textures are just amazing.
So, what's the difference between a jelly and a jam? Well, it all comes down to clarity. If a jam is kind of like the rustic, hearty cousin, jelly is the elegant, refined one. It's made only from the strained juice of the fruit, which is what gives it that gorgeous, jewel-like look.
And right here you can see exactly how that magic happens. The cooked fruit just hangs out in a cloth bag, and all that pure juice slowly drips out, leaving the pulp and seeds behind. It's a slow process, it takes patience, but that's what gives you that perfectly clear, bright, beautiful jelly. But hey, preserving is not just about the sweet stuff. Now we get to explore the savory side of the pantry, the pickles, chutneys, and relishes that can take a simple sandwich or a cheese board and turn it into something truly next level.
You know, people throw these words around all the time, but there's actually a pretty big difference. Think of it this way. Relishes are cooked quickly, so they stay bright and crunchy. Chutneys, on the other hand, are slow cooked for a long time, which lets all those spices and sugars and vinegars melt together and harmonize into something really deep and complex.
Okay, if you're getting into pickling, this number is your new best friend. It is absolutely crucial. The vinegar you use must have at least 5% acidity. That's the magic number that creates an environment where bad microorganisms just can't grow, keeping your pickles totally safe and, of course, delicious. And believe me, the world of preserving goes way beyond what you might think. We're talking everything from spicy pickled plums to balsamic pickled eggs. You can use oil to seal things like pesto, protecting them from oxygen. And then you get into the drinks. Homemade liqueurs, which the author calls the pinnacle of preserving, and these amazing non-alcoholic cordials for making your own sodas. I mean, the possibilities are practically endless. So after all the science and all the art, what's the real payoff? Well, it's being able to look at your own pantry and see it as something completely new, something you created. This right here is the ultimate reward. Imagine it's a cold, gray day in the middle of January, and you can open a jar and just unleash the taste of a perfect summer afternoon. Your pantry, literally, becomes a library of seasons. And don't even get me started on the gifts. There is something so incredibly special about giving someone a jar of something you made with your own 2 hands. It's so much more than jam. It's a little piece of your time, your care, and your kitchen.
And really, that's what this is all about, transforming your kitchen. It stops being just a room where you cook dinner, and it becomes this creative gourmet workshop, a lab where you can play, experiment, and create these incredible flavors you just can't buy in any store.
So, after all that, there's really only one question left to ask. With all these amazing possibilities, from sweet jams to savory pickles to incredible liqueurs, what's the first flavor you're going to save this season?